This is part of a series of videos on vector space classification. In this video, we will be discussing classification with more than two classes and choosing a classifier in vector space. This is part 5 in the series, so you might want to watch the 4 previous videos. In the last video, we talked about linear classifiers and restricted our definition to binary classifiers. However, often there are more than two classes to be considered. How we handle those depends on how the classes relate to one another and our assumptions. If the classes are mutually exclusive, this is called one-of classification. A document must be a member of one and only one class. Sometimes this is referred to as multi-class or single-label classification. For example, we may assume that the content of a document is only in one language. However, in text classification, we are more likely to encounter what's called any-of classification. In any-of classification, the classes are not mutually exclusive. A document can be a member of one of them, many of them, or maybe not at all. This is sometimes called multi-label or multi-value classification. If we are dividing documents based on topics, often documents may touch on many different subjects and may fit into many classes. How to classify the document varies based on if we are dealing with a one-of problem or an any-of problem. When classifying documents that are in only one of multiple classes, first, we build a classifier for each class. We label the documents as either members of the class or not members of the class. Then, when testing this set of classifiers, we apply each classifier to a test document separately. Then, the document is assigned to the class that it receives the highest score, confidence, or probability measure in. When testing these classifiers, it is common to use a confusion matrix. A confusion matrix shows each pair of classes and how often objects in one class were inaccurately placed in another class. When classifying documents that may fit into multiple classes in an any-of problem, the procedure is simpler. Just as with a one-of problem, build a classifier for each class. Again, we label the documents as either members of the relevant class or not members of that class. Then, when testing these classifiers, apply all of them to the document. The document is assigned to any class it fits. We have discussed linear and non-linear classifiers in this series. But how do you choose which classifier to use? There's not one single best classifier for every task. There is a trade-off between bias and variance. On collections of documents that are not linearly separable, linear classifiers have a very high bias. They are consistently wrong. In the same situation, a nonlinear classifier will produce excellent, low bias results. However, nonlinear classifiers are prone to high variance. They are less consistent than linear classifiers and have a tendency toward overfitting. This makes them learn from noise and makes them highly sensitive to it. This means that choosing the correct classification method to use requires an understanding of the data. How noisy is it? What does the distribution look like? What are the priorities in this classification problem? Making good judgments about the trade-offs between different classification methods is an important challenge when working with classification in vector space and any other data analysis problem. Thank you for watching this video, and please check out the other videos in this series. Thank you!